Hello, friends. So good to be with you today. I've been working a lot on the leadership development, just the mentor programs that I've put together because I've really got a desire to help you move to the next level of your life. And I don't care who you are, there are things in you that's yet undiscovered. You've not reached that place, that plateau yet where you know it all. There's more for you. There's dreams in you, desires in you that you didn't even know was there. And I want to help you find that. Today, I'm going to be talking to you for just a couple of moments. I promise it won't be very long. Stick with me. I'm going to say a couple of words about opportunity. That's so very important. I think we haven't, to be honest with you, we really haven't understood what opportunity meant. And so opportunities will come to us in many ways, and it slips away from us without us ever really realizing we have it. Either we see the opportunity, we see we missed it, and it grieves our heart, or it comes by us and we never recognized it, or we didn't know what to do with it. Some of you have dreams, some of you have visions, some of you have plans, things you desire more than anything in the world, been in you your whole life. And I feel like there's so many people with a sense of I don't know, disappointment that it didn't happen, that it didn't come to pass like it should. But you have to understand something. You have a part to play in all of those things that's going to take place. You have a part to play. There's really a tendency to say, well, if it's God's will for this to happen, it's just going to take place. And guys, that's simply not the truth. I can take you to the book of Exodus, and I show you an entire generation of the Jewish nation who missed out totally on what God planned for them. He intended for them. He promised them. But because of what was in their heart, he could not take them into the promised land. So even though God had a plan for them, they could not seize the opportunity because of what was in their heart, and they missed the opportunity. They missed all that God had for them. And so I want to talk to you today about how to recognize that opportunity. I want to talk to you about how to lay hold on it. Okay? How do I initiate it? How do I really make this thing begin to be set in motion? Because again, you have to realize it just doesn't come on me. I can't just go to bed and say, hope this thing happens. It ain't going to happen like that. You have a part to play. Your response. See, God gives this provision. God gives a promise. God lays the plans of your heart in you, but it's up to you as to how you respond. It's up to you to what extent that takes place. See, the Bible said faith without works or corresponding actions is dead. If you don't have corresponding actions to what's in your heart, then your faith is not going to produce anything for you. That's just the way it is. It's in you, but your response to those things can either project it forward or it can cause it to be stopped in its tracks. And we see that's in you. Things can hinder the things that's in your heart, the plans that God has. Sin, unbelief, strife, disobedience. How many times have you seen all of these things creep up in someone's heart and it just stalled their life out? How you respond determines how it's going to work to you. Let me just say this. Not only does it determine if it responds, it also determines the degree of response that it has in your life. Remember Mark chapter 4, he was talking about the word. Now, everything in life happens in response to the seed plant harvest principle. Everything. And so he's talking about the seed of the word of God. And when it goes into man, there are things that come to hinder it. But he talked about something specific that we'll share with you. He said when it talked about the 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold. You remember that? We tend to think, well, the 30-fold was bad ground, the 100-fold was, 60-fold was better, the 100-fold was the good ground. But it didn't say that. You know what it said? It said that the 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold, all three were good ground. The same ground. The same good ground. So what made the difference between one being 30-fold and one being 100? Well, it goes on down a few verses later and says the way you measure it, that's the way it's measured back to you. In other words, you measure everything that you hear. I could say something to you. I could say, you know what? Your whole life is going to turn around by 5 o'clock this evening, and you'll go, yeah, right. That's a measurement. Well, I don't have the right education. That's a measurement. I was born on the wrong side of the tracks. That's a measurement. I have this against me. I have that. All of that. We measure literally everything that comes. And the way you measure it that positions how it produces in your life, the way you see it, the way you respond to it, the way your faith is turned toward it. So my point is, here's the fact that you have a part to play. That's why it's so important. Now, I wanted to talk to you a moment, all of that in mind. Excuse me for being so long to get around to it. I want to talk to you about opportunity. Opportunity is the word for today. Now, I want you to try to embrace that. Now, you remember the scripture? He said, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season you're going to reap if you don't lose heart. Now, that's huge. That's big. In due season, you're going to reap if you don't lose heart. Now, the next verse says, therefore, now he's going to give some instructions for this. Therefore, because of this, in light of this, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all men, especially those of the household of faith. So, and most people don't understand how this works out, but let's break this down. Due season, opportunity, do something. Those three things right there. You want to make that work for you. And a lot of people say, well, I'd love the opportunity, but the season, due season. What is due season? I don't even know what due season means. Well, let's talk about that. Due season is when a divine appointment positions you for a divine contact. That's what a due season is. When a divine appointment comes into your life and positions you for a divine contact, that's the season right there. That is the season. That's the opportunity. And I'm just going to tell you something. When the opportunity opens, be ready to respond, to do good, to do to God something, anything. That's the opportunity. The season comes. The plan of God unfolds for you. There's an opportunity that is connected to the plan and the purpose of God in someone's life. So God brings the season for change in people's life. He's the changer of the seasons. That's encouraging to me, because I know no matter what I'm going through, I'm just telling you something. He is the changer of the season. Sometimes I go through a horrible season. I'm thinking, Lord, am I never going to get out of this winter? Am I never going to get out of this summer? Is this never going to change? But He's faithful. And I'm telling you, He's not forgotten you, and He's bringing you to a place of divine appointments. And at those divine appointments, that's when miracles take place. That's when someone prays for you. That's when someone brings opportunity in your life. But all opportunity comes not from heaven, it comes through those divine appointments. Opportunities come through divine appointments. The Bible said, it'll be given to you good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, that men will give to your bosom. So obviously, although the wonderful things come from God, they come through men. Well, at what place does it come through men? Those are the divine appointments. That's the opportunities. And God will have a season. I'm going to bless you here. And so we come to that season, boom, He brings this person and this person together that never has met. They had no clue what was going to happen, but they're brought together. And that opportunity is the time that you got to apply yourself, be diligent, do something, pull the trigger. We're so afraid to just act. Well, what if I'm wrong? What if you're right? Dear Lord, don't sit. There's nothing that can grieve you more than to know that I needed this so bad. I wanted this so bad, but I was just intimidated. I just let it pass by me. Oh my God, that's horrible. That's horrible. See, due season doesn't mean someday. Well, one of these days, yep. And that's the way a lot of people think about it. One of these days, yeah. I guarantee you, one of these days, it's going to be different. One of these days. And one of these days never happens. Due season doesn't mean one of these days. Due season is when that divine appointment positions you for divine contact. And when that opportunity opens, be ready to do good to all men. I don't care what it is, and especially those of the household of faith, because that's where the opportunity is. So you're going to go through a series of divine appointments and divine contacts. You need to wake up every day in your life thinking, what is my divine appointments today? I want to be ready so I can make that contact. If God has a divine appointment for me someplace, my part is to make a contact. I got to say hello. I got to brush my teeth. I got to do something. I got to position myself. I've got to be diligent. I'm going to have to prepare myself to be ready to act. Okay? So when we talk about the connecting in that due season with opportunities and with doing, this is the plan of God. You know what unveils